Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. The Manchester United and Liverpool game has been postponed because hundreds of our fans broke inside Old Trafford. They went on the pitch to protest against the Glazers. They smashed equipment. They also climbed on the goals. And also clashed with the police outside the stadium. I presume the game should be rearranged for tomorrow night. Now, not so long ago, our fans protested against the Glazers outside Old Trafford, and they burned the American flag. It did say that we expected up to 10,000 protesters against the Glazers ahead of the game against Liverpool. The other week, our fans protested against the Glazers outside Carrington. Our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest against the Glazers. And obviously, there was banners saying that we decide when you play, 51% MUFC 20 and Glazers out. Not so long ago, Solskjaer did say that the Glazer family will not sell Manchester United. And before that, he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club. Not so long ago, the Glazers apologised over the European Super League plans. The Red Knights have told the Glazers to sell Manchester United. The Glazers want £4 billion to sell the club. If Man United get the Glazers out, it will be the right decision. Because I hate the way the football club has been run for a long time. The Glazers have been at Manchester United around 16 years now. They've been with us since 2005, so we need to recommend new owners in. So, there you go. Earlier on today, I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Paul Pogba. Manchester United will sell Paul Pogba in the summer if he does not sign a new contract. Man United are set to offer Paul Pogba a new £400,000 a week contract, but Paul Pogba is demanding £500,000 a week. Man United will demand £80 million for Pogba this summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Paul Pogba to stay at the football club. Mini Oriola, who's Paul Pogba's agent, he recently said that Paul Pogba wants to win trophies at Manchester United or another top European club. Mini Oriola insists that Paul Pogba's future is still in doubt. He recently spoke about Eden Hazard and Paul Pogba swap deal. Would you take Eden Hazard at Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Real Madrid? Now, Eden Hazard hasn't done that well at Real Madrid and he's sustained quite a few injuries. But Eden Hazard is Premier League proven because he endured like 7 years at Chelsea before he went to Real Madrid. So, he was a long-serving player. Mini Oriola's done a lot of talking, earlier on this season. he criticised Sir Alex Ferguson for forcing Pogba out of the club when he was younger. I presume all Man United fans disagreed with him criticising Sir Alex Ferguson. And he said earlier on this season he doesn't give a fuck if he doesn't take another player to Man United, as long as his clients are happy. But he did say earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season. And he made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. Because Mini Oriola has been criticised a lot and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. And he made an announcement back in December of last year regarding Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But he has had a long-running transfer saga. Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. He's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus. Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United, and swap deals have been high on the agenda. He said earlier on this season that Juventus were willing to offer us Paulo Dybala in exchange for Pogba. Then Italian reports said there could be a swap deal involving Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo. An Italian report said earlier on this season that Juventus were willing to offer us 4 players in exchange for Pogba. Barcelona and PSG have also been in for him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said earlier on this season that Paul Pogba's future lies at Man United and he hopes he stays and signs a new contract. Pogba's current contract expires next year, because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. We've been getting the best out of him in recent months. Paul Pogba, he does bring creativity to the team. Disregarding Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. Recently we've been playing him in more of an advanced role, and we need to keep him in that advanced role because that's where he's more effective. But quite a few times before we've played him in that deeper role. I don't think he's that effective there. Earlier on this season he had a thigh injury and he was out for a while. He was out with an ankle injury the first part of this season, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Now, obviously, the news regarding Edinson Cavani. A lot of positivity has come out regarding Cavani recently. He said that Cavani has decided that he wants to stay at Manchester United in the summer. It's expected to be official next week. He said Cavani is close to agreeing a 1-year contract extension with Man United. Solskjaer did say not so long ago that he's doing all he can to convince Edinson Cavani to stay at the club. Prior to that, he said Edinson Cavani's future is not 100% decided. And before that, he said that Edinson Cavani will leave. Edinson Cavani had a meeting with Man United not so long ago, and it said he has to leave Man United to join Boca Juniors. But I want us to keep him for next season. I presume a lot of United fans want us to keep him for next season because he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Now, obviously, Man United are linked with a lot of players. There's been narratives coming out regarding Pau Torres recently from Villarreal. Now, it recently said that Man United are in advanced talks to sign Pau Torres. He said Man United are aiming to complete the signing of Pau Torres before the European Championship begins. Pau Torres has a £43.4 million release clause Villarreal want Man United to meet his release clause, but his release clause increases to just over 56 million in the final 15 days of the summer transfer window. Now, earlier on this season, it did say that Pau Torres wants to come to Man United. The Real Madrid president, Florentino Perez, was angry with Man United for entering the race for Pau Torres, because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites to get him. Would you take him at Man United? Do you think he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line? He's been at Villarreal a long time. He's got a contract with Villarreal until 2024. He also had a loan spell with Malaga, but he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. There's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. It said a few weeks ago that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. Jules Koundé has also been on our agenda. It recently said that Sevilla will accept around 52 million for Koundé. His release clause is £78 million. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. Now, recently Real Madrid entered the race for Jules Koundé. Man United and Chelsea are also interested. Now, earlier on this season, it said that Sevilla were demanding £68 million. And it said earlier on this season that we were actually emerged as the favourites to get him. And it said we was prepared to pay around £61 million. I'd take Jules Koundé at Man United because he's a very good centre-half. His performances for Sevilla this season have been outstanding. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years now. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. Now, we may not even get a centre-half in the summer transfer window because obviously Eric Bailly recently signed a new contract with the club until 2024. There is an option of a further year. Obviously, the news regarding Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Reports have come out recently and said that Borussia Dortmund's sporting director says that Jadon Sancho has a gentleman agreement over a possible transfer. Man United are confident that they can get Jadon Sancho on the cheap this summer. We've talked with Jadon Sancho's representatives over a potential move. Borussia Dortmund have already admitted that they'll sell Jadon Sancho for the right price this summer. And Borussia Dortmund's CEO did reveal that the club will discuss exceptional offers for Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund are actually planning to sell Sancho, so they have much greater chance of keeping Erling Haaland. Earlier on this season, it said that Dortmund are open to selling Sancho for £86 million. So they have lowered their asking price because initially they was demanding £108 million. Earlier on this season, it says we was preparing to put a £50 million bid in because we believed we could get him for a cut price deal. But earlier on this season, it said we dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Now, obviously, last summer, Sancho was our number one priority target. And Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close. He said the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. But the reason we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. Dortmund said to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he's spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and so too was Christian Falk from Bild. You obviously know the news as well regarding Declan Rice. Darren Fletcher recently said that Declan Rice asked about Manchester United whilst he was on international duty with England. Rice has already asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford, and reports came out last month and said that Declan Rice is interested in joining Man United. Apparently West Ham are demanding £100 million. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window, maybe 5 signings, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. Now, I'm expecting Man United to spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer said earlier on this season that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. The summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager, and Solskjaer wants good backing, and to be honest with you, I'm expecting him to get the backing he deserves, because we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and Matt Judge is with us, and he's been part of the club for a long time. I feel as though Solskjaer's not been backed enough yet. I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and he will be Man United manager next season, because it's already been made clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. He does deserve, though, another season because he has made progress in quite a lot of aspects. But in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. Quite a few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that we'll offload Anthony Martial. A lot of Man United fans want Anthony Martial to go because he's no longer good enough to represent the club, and he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Martial is out with an injury at the moment. It's very, very likely he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. Juan Mata, I'm also expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in R11, and my element of concern about Juan Mata, he's lost that yard of pace, and plus he's ageing up. Nemanja Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders, and plus I've got my strong reservations about him. Pogba could still leave in the summer transfer window. I think we should offload Donny van der Beek. The reason is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Man United. It recently said we are considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. There was talks of an Adrian Rabiot and Donny van der Beek swap deal. But most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Now, like I updated you earlier on today, Man United will refuse any offers for Van der Beek this summer. So, reflecting on that, we are reluctant to let him go. Phil Jones, I'm also expecting us to offload him. Tuan Zebe, I think we should offload him because he doesn't get in R11. I think we should get rid of Diego Dalot permanently. He's out on loan at AC Milan at the moment. I think there's a good chance Tellez will leave as well. He said not so long ago that Tellez has decided to leave Manchester United. Calcio Mercato recently said that Juventus are interested and they're willing to offer Adrian Rabiot in exchange for Alex Tellez. Tellez has played nowhere near as much as I expected. When we got him in last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately. We got Telles in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Sergio Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's like our third or fourth choice keeper now, and I think there's a good chance we'll offload De Gea. Some Man United fans reckon it would be a mistake getting rid of De Gea, but I don't think it would be because I reckon now he's had his years at Manchester United. We could loan Brandon Williams out as well, because Brandon Williams is now our third choice left back and he doesn't get in our team. He played a lot of games last season, but the only reason is because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. There's a lot of players that we'll keep in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. Obviously, the news regarding Ed Woodward. Not so long ago, Woodward's house got attacked by masked protesters. It got announced the other week that Ed Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman, and he will stand down at the end of the year. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. I presume all United fans were delighted with the news regarding Woodward. Apparently, Woodward will get to choose Manchester United's next chief executive. He says there could be 5 candidates we could look at, but it said that Edwin van der Sar is the favourite to replace Woodward. Obviously, Woodward showed his support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer several times. Earlier on this season, Woodward said he believes Solskjaer's the right man to lead the club forward. And he released a statement saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So, in that aspect, Woodward has been backing him. So, yeah, we need to recommend a new chairman in, and we need to recommend new owners in. Definitely. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he is our best manager since Ferguson. This has been his second full season at Manchester United. He's been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. I don't think he's a long-term manager for Man United. A lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. But you know what? I hope I'm proven wrong. Earlier on this season, it said that Solskjaer agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It said it's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Solskjaer's just got under a year left on his current 3-year contract. Obviously, a lot of United fans have criticised Solskjaer, and obviously they've been demanding him out of the football club. They've got reasons behind it. But I presume there's still a lot of United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in, and they believe that he needs more time. Reflecting how long he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learned quite a bit on the job. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. He had 2 spells at Molde, and before he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. We love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot because he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Manchester United. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The reason the club gave him the job permanently 2 years ago was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager, because he did well, didn't he, in that 3-month period. Like I've said to you, I do have my concerns about Ole. But there's also a lot of positives regarding Ole as well. We have enjoyed very good periods under him where we have seen consistency, and we're enjoying a good period at the moment. We are unbeaten in our last 7 games in all competitions. We're sitting second in the Premier League. We're probably going to finish second in the Premier League. Solskjaer has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. He's brought the likes of Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. Obviously brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Igalo in on loan. Obviously brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Amad Diallo, Traore and Facundo Palestre. Obviously Solskjaer's not got all the players that I wanted to recommend in as yet, and in that aspect the blame stems from the board. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. This season got us to the Europa League final. It's his first major final as Man United manager. Got us to the FA Cup quarter final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Did well last season, his first full season. Got us to 3 semi-finals. Got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. We've got a very good away record in the Premier League. We are unbeaten in our last 24 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. And he's beaten quite a few big name managers as Man United manager, and I also like the way he has promoted the youth, so they are the positives regarding Ole. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season we will never ever give up on the Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, that's 8 years ago now, but in the last 8 years, Man United have been playing catch-up, obviously, and obviously we've made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. The 3 managers we've sacked since Ferguson was Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. We finished 7th under Moyes, and that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League here. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies, if you want to include the Community Shield. And he also got second with us. I think that was in his first season, so you can say Mourinho enjoyed one good season with Man United. Obviously, we've brought around 36, 37 players in since Ferguson retired. We've spent over £1 billion on them. Obviously, we've overpaid for players in recent years as well. I do believe that the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. Don't forget, Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.